Hi, I'm Charlie Chapman. I'm a developer advocate here at RevenueCat. And today I want to show you a new feature we just released called the Customer Center. It's a UI framework you can embed in your apps that makes it really easy for you to add a subscription management view into your settings. This makes it easy for your customers to check on the state of their subscription, change their plans if they want to switch between like a monthly and an annual, and even options to let them initiate a refund request or cancel their subscription right from there. And whenever they do pick one of those options, you can actually show them a set of questions to figure out why it is they want to cancel. And based on those answers, you can even show them some kind of discount using promotional offers. I have a whole overview video that I made. I'll link it in the description below that you can check out. For this video, we're going to just dive right in and look at how it all works. So we're going to start in Xcode, and then we're going to go over to the RevenueCat dashboard, and I'm just going to show you how to set everything up and what all your options are. So let's get right into it. All right, so we're in Xcode now. This is the Paw Plus project. I'm going to go ahead and run it. This is something we've used for a bunch of other tutorials. It's sort of a streaming service for people who really like cats and dogs. And if we go into settings, you'll see I already have this upgrade to Pro button up here, which means I'm already using RevenueCat. This is using RevenueCat paywalls. Right now, my user is not subscribed, and we're going to leave it that way for a second here. And down here, there's a new button I added called Manage Subscription. And right now it doesn't do anything because we need to wire it up. But I want this to be a way for customers to see the state of their subscription and do some different tasks for managing that. So let's wire that up to our new Customer Center. So here is the settings view. It's pretty straightforward. And then here's the new section that's support and the Manage Subscription button. And right now, all it does is it toggles this presenting customer center Boolean, which is just a state variable that's a Boolean. If you've done Swift UI sheets, you know where this is going. We want, whenever this gets flipped to true, for the customer center to be presented. If we look at this page, we already saw that this is using RevenueCat paywalls, and that's what this sheet right here is. So this uses a sheet and it presents a paywall view. And that paywall view is coming from RevenueCat UI. And that's also what we're going to use for Customer Center. And actually, we can present the Customer Center the exact same way as the paywalls by just saying sheet. And we're not going to bind it to an item, though. We're going to say is presented is based on the presenting Customer Center Boolean we just looked at. And the content will be a Customer Center view. And so this is a way that you can do it. And if we run this, it will present our new Customer Center UI. We also have a view modifier you can use called presents Customer Center. Whoops. Present Customer Center. And it has is presented as well. And then we can use presenting Customer Center. And then this one takes a onDismiss action handler. And so for now, I'm just going to print, Customer Center dismissed. But you can do, whatever you want. If you want to do some analytics or something here, you can do that. This view modifier pretty much works the same way. The difference is there's some other stuff that we'll show you later that you can do using this view modifier. So let's go ahead and run it and see how this works. So now we go into settings. And if I click on this Manage Subscription, we get the beautiful Customer Center. Now, right now, it's not very exciting, and that's because we're not actually subscribed. So there's no subscriptions found. And then there's this check purchases button. And all this does is calls restore from App Store Connect to try and restore the customer subscription if they have one, and for some reason that receipt wasn't there. In our case, we don't have one, so it's not actually going to show anything. And so let's go ahead and subscribe so that we can see some more information here. So I'm going to go ahead and subscribe to the annual plan. All right. And you see up here, it's saying, thank you for subscribing. Now, if we open the Customer Center, we will see a whole bunch more information. So up here is a bunch of sort of metadata about the state of their subscription. So the billing cycle, the current price, and then when the next billing date is actually going to be. And then there's a bunch of actions down here. So didn't receive purchase is just another way to do a restore. So like if you opened it and it was showing that you have the monthly plan, but you had upgraded to the annual plan on a different device, you could click here to try and restore it. And then there's request refund, change plans, and cancel subscription. So if we click on request refund, that's going to open Apple's view that they provide for you to give users the ability to request a refund right in your app. So that's what this is right here. Change, and you'll see the refund status actually shows here. In our case, we just canceled it. But if you initiated a refund, it would show you like the current status of your refund request. If you go to change plans, that's going to open Apple's page to let you manage your subscription. So I could switch to monthly if I wanted to. I'm not actually going to, but that's where you would do that. You can also cancel from here as well. And then cancel subscription. And the way this is set up by default, it's actually going to take you to this feedback prompt. And so these are kind of our default options that we give you. There's too expensive, don't use the app, bought by mistake. We can configure these. We'll look at that in a minute. But this is a good way for you to like ask your user, why do you want to cancel before you actually send them to the page to cancel. And I've already done a little bit of work here just so I can show you in this demo. But if I tap on too expensive, first it's going to show me a discount. So I could get 1 month free instead of canceling if I wanted to. This isn't set up by default. You have to set this up, which we'll walk through here in a second. But this is a good way to try and win back some customers who may be trying to leave. And you might want to give a bigger discount or some kind of promotional offer. And this is using promotional offers in App Store Connect, which again, I'll show you how to set that up. If I say no thanks here, it's going to again take us to the view that Apple gives us to let users manage their subscription, which has that cancel button right there for them. All right, so this is what you get right out of the box. This is actually like you saw, we added hardly any code at all, and immediately this is something that's valuable to your users. I didn't even show you this supports dark mode as well as light mode. And I actually really like how this looks because it looks like a Apple UI. So even if your app is super stylized, when you get to the managed subscription part, you might want it to just look like it's kind of an Apple style UI. Because if they open this change plans one, this is going to look like this no matter what, because this is actually sent by Apple. And so you're kind of matching it here. But maybe you want to tweak how this looks. And that is where we need to go into the RevenueCat dashboard to look at that. So let's jump over there. So this is the RevenueCat dashboard for my Paw Plus project. And if we scroll down here, you'll see this Customer Center tab inside of Monetization Tools. That beta tag will go away whenever this is released, obviously, but I'm recording this ahead of time. So if we click on this, you'll see a bunch of different options to configure your Customer Center. So the first tab here is configuration, and that's where we're going to start. So the support email is something you can just put an email that you want us to give to your customers anytime they run into some sort of roadblock. Right now, we're using this in a couple different places whenever the user runs into some kind of roadblock, but we can expand that to other places. We're still kind of playing around with that. But this is what we will just show your users for them to get in touch with you if they need to for some reason. And this is kind of the meat of the configuration. So inside of screen configuration, there's two different sections. There's customers with an active subscription and customers with no active subscription. So like we saw whenever I was first demoing this, whenever you don't have an active subscription, the only action that users can take is this missing purchase action. And then once they do have an active subscription, there's a bunch more actions that they can take. And so this is where you can configure both of those. We'll pretty much just focus on here for now because that's where most of the interesting stuff is. Within here, this is sort of your overall settings for your Customer Center. And then you can go into the different pages. So there's the missing purchase action, refund request, change plan, and cancel. Within these configuration options, a lot of them are going to have some sort of text. So, right here, we have this, let's get you some help. That's what this text is right here. And so you can change this to whatever you want. I think I actually already changed this away from the default. I think it was just say help or something like that initially. But if you change this right here, you're only changing it for English, and your app might be localized in other languages. And that's where this edit translations comes in. So if I tap on this, it's going to take us to the localization tab. We're still in the Customer Center configuration, and then it'll scroll you down to that string in the localizations. And so there's let's get you some help. And you can see we already provide you a whole bunch of different localizations for the default strings. Now, I think these, if you know these languages, they might actually be wrong because, again, I changed the English earlier. So if you change one of these, you're going to want to change the other languages that your app supports. But whenever you add your own, like I have done in a couple of these other places, you're going to want to go through and for each language that your app supports, update that for each language, if that makes sense. So we have full localization support right out of the box, and you can update that here in the UI. Now, for all these other actions, these are the ones that are here by default, but you can get rid of any of them if you don't want it to be there. So if you don't want to have the refund request button on your Customer Center, you can just hit this delete path button and it'll take it away. And then if you want to add new ones, you go back up here and you hit the plus and you can add a new path. And there's actually one extra type of path that we don't have set up by default, which is a custom URL. So this lets you add an action that opens a URL that's either to a website or a deep link into your app for anything you want. You can see I had already set one up before that just opens straight to Google. So I can just say, more help. And then you set what the URL you want that to open and then how you want it to open. So if I have it set to external browser or deep link, that's going to actually open up Safari. Or if it's a URL scheme to a deep link inside of your app, it'll just open straight to that part of your app. In this case, I want to switch this to open in the in-app browser. And now if we run it, oops, I just hit run on the website. Now if we, and I didn't actually hit save. So let's add that again. Custom URL, google.com/search. And let's see if I did this right. Help. I don't think I need the quote there. And then make this more help. And then switch that to in-app browser. All right. And then you need to hit save up here. And now if I rerun the app and go to settings and manage subscription, now you see there's this new more help action down here. And if I tap on it, it opens an in-app browser. And you can see I constructed that URL wrong. I don't remember if I don't have the question mark here, but you get the idea. That's the URL that it tried to open. Okay, so if we go back over here, so that's the custom URLs. This is really great for linking to like an FAQ page on your website or a page on your website that has a bunch of different options for customer support. Like if you have a chat or something like that, you can send them straight to here with that. Now for the other options here, most of these are going to just be buttons with text that open something from Apple. So missing purchase initiates the restore. Refund request just initiates the refund or opens the refund request view from Apple. At least that's what it does by default. You can change that, which we'll look at here in a second. Change plans, again, just opens Apple's management page for changing the customer's plans. And then cancel, the way we structure it for you by default is it actually opens that feedback survey that we looked at a second ago. So within the feedback survey, you can give it a title, which is going to be this title up here. And then you have your different options. Option 1 is too expensive. Option 2 is don't use the app. And then option 3 is you bought it by mistake. Now, the text is obviously just the string that shows as the button text. And then this offer down here is the kind of interesting part. So you can optionally set this to open up a promotional offer to show your users a discount based on what they selected. So you can see in option 1, I configured this to open this 1 month free promotional offer that I already configured. I could switch this to be this 50% off the first year offer or 6-month free offer. But for the bought by mistake, that's a person who has no intention to use the app. I don't really need to show them a discount. In fact, I'm probably more likely to just make them mad and leave a bad review if I keep trying to hit them with a discount here. So in that case, I just set it to none so that that user will go straight to the page where they can cancel their subscription instead of showing them that discount. So you can actually add these to any of them. So on change plans, if I wanted to add a feedback prompt here for some reason, I could do that by hitting plus and then choosing a feedback survey, or just go straight to a promotional offer here. And more likely what you'd want to do is on the refund request, you might want to add one of these as well. So if I hit plus and I just say, I don't want to do a survey, I just want to hit them with a discount instead right away, I can set that up, and let's do the 6-month free option there. And so if I save that and rerun the app, now whenever I hit refund, request a refund, it's going to show me that 6-month free offer instead of sending me straight to that page. And if I hit no thanks, it'll still send me that refund request page. So before we jump into how to set up one of these offers in App Store Connect and then link it here, let's look at one more customization option that's a little simpler, which is the Appearance tab. So this is where you can change how your customer center looks. It's kind of set into 2 sections. There's your main accent color, and then there's some customizations around the promotional offer screens. So the accent color is just the color of these buttons here. So I could change this to be red, and then in dark mode, maybe I want to make it like a light purple instead. And if I save that and reopen this, you'll now see that they're all red. And if I switch to dark mode, they're purple. So you can make this kind of match your color scheme of your app. And then these options down here are for the promotional offer screens. So right now the text is black, background is white, button text is white, button background is black. Let's make the background, maybe our app has this sort of our app has this sort of, like yellowish tint to it, and I don't want it to be as harsh. So maybe that's kind of like more of a gray. And then my highlight color here is going to be red, just like the accent color is, maybe a little bit darker, like a maroon. And then I want that's the button text. So we'll make that button text white, keep that white. And then the button background, we'll make this like kind of dark maroon color. And I'm only going to do it for the light mode for now. And so now if we switch this to light mode and open that back up, and then we go into one of these, you'll see we have this kind of yellowish background with the red button, and we still have our accent color for this button down here. So you have to keep that in mind as well. So that's the sort of appearance customizations you get. And these are configured. This is all configurable in the Offers tab, which we'll look at here in a second. So let's go ahead and do that now. So if we go into the Offers tab, this is where you configure the offers or the discounts that you actually want to show your users based on the selections they make in your Customer Center actions. So you can see I've already set up a couple here. If we want to add more, first we need to create a promotional offer that's attached to the product that the user is subscribed to in App Store Connect. So let's jump over to App Store Connect and look at how that works. All right, so I'm in the PAW Plus App Store Connect page, and this is where I need to set up my promotional offer. So if we scroll down to the Subscriptions tab, we can find my subscription group. And in that subscription group, I have 2 different products, annual and monthly. So keep in mind that these promotional offers are going to be based on what your user is currently subscribed to, because that's how Apple has set these up. They have to be attached to a product. So in my case, I want to attach this to the annual. And so you need to scroll down to the subscription prices section. And then here, there's a view all subscription prices button. I think this is super buried, but this is where it is. And this is where you can configure all your different types of offers, like introductory offers or win-back offers or offer codes. In our case, we're going to be setting up a promotional offer. So if I go into here, you'll see I've already set up my 1 month free and 6 month free offer. So let's go ahead and add one more just so you can see how this works. So this is the reference name. You can call this whatever you want. Let's call this 3 months free, since that's not something I've already done. And this identifier, now this one's important because this is what you're going to use to link it to RevenueCat. So I'm going to call this 3 months free. You can't use dashes, so I'm using underscores. And then I'm going to go ahead and copy that because we're going to use that here in a second. And so you can set these up just like any other offer. So they can be they could be a discount as opposed to just a free trial if you want as well. I'm going to make this one a free trial, and we're going to make it for 3 months. Next, I want this to be available in all regions. All right, cool. So now we have our new 3 month free promotional offer, and that right there is the identifier that we're going to need for RevenueCat. So if I go back to the RevenueCat dashboard, I can now click Add Offer here. All right, so offer reference, this is just the name that is going to be called inside of the RevenueCat dashboard. This isn't linked to App Store Connect yet. So we'll just go ahead and call this 3 months free. And the title and subtitle are what's actually going to show here. So this is the title, this is the subtitle. So I can say like, wait, don't go. And then the subtitle will be like, will you stay if I give you 3 more months for free? Make this really desperate. And then you can set some eligibility requirements for which users should be able to see this. By default, it's set to be based on when the user was first seen and if it was more than 30 days ago. So users who downloaded the app and were seen by RevenueCat, the RevenueCat SDK, more than 30 days ago. So if you downloaded the app, you opened it, you played around, you subscribed, and then after more than 30 days, you decided to cancel, maybe that's whenever we want to see it. In my case, I actually want to do kind of the opposite. So instead of first seen, I want it to be based on when you made your first purchase. And then I want it to be less than 30 days. So if you purchased it and it hasn't been a full 30 days and you decided to cancel, that's whenever I want to show this to you. You can also add another eligibility requirement to sort of dial in a specific range for users that should see this, but I'm not going to do that here. And then this is where we actually need to map it to the App Store Connect product. So the product ID is going to be the actual subscription product. So in our case, this is going to be the annual plan, because that's where we configured our promotional offer. And you can add multiple here if you wanted to also add one to the monthly offer as well, or the monthly plan as well. And then this ID is that string that we copied earlier. So remember the promotional offer we set up, this ID right here is what goes in here. So I'm going to go ahead and hit save. And assuming I set this all up correctly, if I run this, or wait, it's not set up yet because we just created an offer, but we haven't actually linked it to any of the actions inside of our customer center. So let's go ahead and say, if the user goes to cancel and they say that they don't use the app, so not too expensive or bought by mistake, but only if they don't use the app, then I want it to show our new 3-month offer. So now I'm going to go ahead and hit save, and let's run that. All right. So if we go in here, go to manage subscription, hit cancel, and say don't use the app. And we didn't see it show up. I would normally edit this out, but I've run into this so many times, I'm going to leave it in because this is a helpful tip, because many of you will probably run into the same thing. So I am doing all of my testing using a StoreKit config file. I can link in the description our docs on how these work, but it's a really useful way for testing your in-app purchases and in-app subscriptions in App Store Connect. So you can see I have this StoreKit config file that I had already set up. And the way these work is this is a file that represents all of your StoreKit configurations in App Store Connect, but locally, so that you can set everything up in your local dev environment and you can tweak things. If you delete the app and then reinstall it on your simulator, it will completely start over your products that your user has. So it makes it way easier for testing. But whenever you set these up, you can set it to sync with App Store Connect so that it has the exact same configuration as App Store Connect. And we usually recommend people do that so that you can actually test that your App Store Connect configuration is correct. But it doesn't automatically sync on its own. So in my case, if I go into this annual product, you'll see that under promotional offers, there's 1 month and 6 month, but there's no 3 month. And that's because it hasn't actually synced yet. So all you have to do to get that working is hit this sync button down here. And we should see there's now our 3 months free promotional offer inside of that annual product. So now if I run it, I'm kind of glad that happened because this has burned me so many times. It's probably going to cause a bunch of you all some problems too. All right. So now if we go to cancel subscription and hit don't use the app, phew. All right. Now it's showing our promotional offer. So the user can get this discount offered to them if they went to go cancel and they said that that's their reason. If I say no thanks, it'll take me to this page where I can cancel. And just to confirm that our setup is correct, if I hit too expensive, I see the 1 month free instead of the 3 month instead of the 3 month free setup promotional offer. And that is because in here I have this one configured to 1 month free and this one configured to 3 months free. So that is the bulk of Customer Center. There's one more thing that you'll probably want to know, and that is, okay, we gave them the option to tell us why they're going to cancel. How do I actually see what their answers were? And we have 2 different answers for that. So the first one is a new chart. Now, because I'm testing all of this, I don't actually have any data in this app's chart because there's no users that have used it. So I have a sample project here that has data already in it. And so we can look at that. So there's a chart called Customer Center Survey Responses. And it works similar to a lot of our other charts, but it basically lets you plot what were the people's answers to your survey questions. You can choose which path you're looking at. So if I want to look at people's answers to the cancel feedback prompt, their refund request feedback prompt, or if you set up a feedback prompt for change plans, you can look at that as well. And just like our other charts, you can, sort this, or you can change your date range to whatever you want. You can collect them, quarterly or monthly or daily if you want to see if there's a big change. If all of a sudden you saw your cancellation spike, you might be interested in understanding on this day why were people more likely to cancel. And then you can segment it by app or project or by the different survey options. So this is probably the easiest way to quickly look at this. But if you want a more granular approach or you want this data somewhere else, you can also capture it in the app itself. So let's look at how that works. So if I go back over to my settings view and go to our view modifier. So this is where using the view modifier gives you a little advantage because in addition to the on dismiss action, there is another callback called Customer Center Action Handler. And in here, you'll be handed an action. And that action is an enum with all the different answers that they could possibly give. So if I just switch on action here and then let Xcode fill them in for me, you'll see there's all these different options. And so you can in our case, we'll just print feedback received. Actually, no, let's make this a little nicer. We'll say the actual, action that they said. And then for all these cases where there's an associated type with the enum, you can find what all of these are. Well, one, you can look here. So in this case, it's like the customer info object. The ones that are the more interesting ones are the feedback survey completed. So let's just look at that one. And that just gives you back a string. So we can say, result or let result. And then just print that out right now. And obviously you can dive into each one of these. And then printing these isn't the most useful, but sending this off to your own analytics is where, this would probably be more useful for you. So if we run this now, all right, so if we go to settings, manage subscription, cancel, and we say bought by mistake, we should see, let me pull it over here so my head's not blocking it. We should see feedback survey completed, survey option, path 3 option, and it looks like there's like a hash that goes there. So this is the way you can grab the results of those surveys directly in the app, and then shuttle them off to your analytics service or whatever it is that you want to do with that. So that's the Customer Center. I think this is going to be really nice for a lot of developers. It's a quick way to build something that's honestly a little complicated to build yourself. Our initial goal was that this was going to help reduce your customer support load. But as we were building it, we realized there's a lot more tools we can add to this. And that's where the promotional offers kind of came into play, and getting the feedback survey results kind of came into play. And we have a lot of ideas for where this could go in the future. And like always, we want to hear what your ideas are. We think this is going to be a nice surface area that we can expand on to help make developers' lives easier, and as always, ultimately help developers make more money. So let us know what you think. If you want to find more about the Customer Center, you'll find all of our docs, as well as these videos and guides and everything about running a subscription app business over at RevenueCat.com.